What's up, everyone? Before I start on my probably long-winded rant, I want everyone to know that I don't have a political agenda here. I'm not trying to win brownie points. I'm not trying to jump on a bandwagon or be Mr. Politically Correct. What I am trying to do is vent a little because I'm angry and frustrated, and I know other people must be as well, and it just sucks not having anywhere to put that. It's hard being a fighter and not being able to fight, not knowing what to do, how you can fight, how you can help. I've been fighting my fight politically. I've been very outspoken politically, which I never liked to be. I was never that guy until now with this current administration, and especially up to when people started dying by the thousands. It's just, I'm not going to be on the wrong side of history. I'm not going to stand by and not be a voice. I didn't like to be that person before. I didn't like to use my platform for my views politically. And then there came a time not long ago when things had gotten so bad that I said, it's the time to pick a fucking side. Pick a fucking side, stand on it, and fight. I picked my side, I'm standing on it, I'm fighting, and I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. I am going to be true to myself. My integrity is not for sale. My opinion is not for sale. But today, what has frustrated me more than anything is this. Everybody should have a problem with this. Everybody in America should have a problem with this. Every white person, every black person, every brown person, every yellow person, every human being should have an issue with this. This man was murdered by this police officer. And there's no other way to put it, because before that man left that street, you can't convince me that he was living. And he begged for his life. Now, I didn't see a video that was 5 minutes long, but I heard that he was held there and tortured for 5 minutes. What I did see, what video I saw with my own eyes, I heard with my own ears, was this man saying that he can't breathe and begging for his life. Begging for his life, while that police officer sat there with that callous look on his face in defiance of all these people who are telling him to get off that man. So I have an issue with that. Everybody should have an issue with that, and everybody should be speaking up. If you're not speaking up and saying that you're not okay with this shit's going to continue to happen. And if you're not speaking out against this, then you're a part of the problem, and you're letting this happen. Because until we all get together and stand up and say, we're not okay with this shit, it's going to continue to happen. So don't sit there and keep your opinion to yourself, or, yell and scream in the living room. You need to speak out. Get on your social media. Everybody's got social media now, and that's your platform. Don't comment on everybody else's shit. Get on your own shit and let people know that you're not okay with this. This is me letting people know that I'm not okay with this. This shouldn't be happening. I believe that the mayor is doing the right thing. He's fired these police officers. I believe his words, he was sincere in his words that he is condemning this. But it shouldn't have happened. This never should have happened in the first place. And to watch these people sit here and know that they could do nothing but yell and scream and video and collect evidence and not be able to help this man. And we know that they couldn't help him. And people could say, well, they could have done something. They could have done anything. They would have been shot dead in that street, and everybody knows that's the truth. So they had no rights. There's nothing they could do to help defend this man, and that sucks. That's frustrating, because we put our trust and our faith in police officers, and to watch a police officer murder a man who's begging for his life right in front of us is traumatizing. It should be traumatizing to everyone. This shouldn't be happening. And if you're not standing up saying that you're not okay with this shit, it's going to continue to happen. So that's all I want. I'm just trying to connect with people who are frustrated and have nowhere to put this anger and frustration. And I'm just saying, speak out. And this is me saying, I'm not okay with this. And I can't live with myself if I just sit and say nothing and comment on other people's stuff. This is me saying, I'm not okay with this. And everybody needs to be on their social medias, in front of their video cameras, in front of YouTube, on Snapchat saying that they're not okay with this. Nobody should be okay with this. This shouldn't be happening anywhere, especially not in our country. If you don't have a black and white problem with this, if you don't see it as a racial issue, which I do, I didn't want to. I didn't grow up with racism. I hate to think that this shit is racism, but it's become very blatant. And if you're not seeing it, then you're fucking blind. This shouldn't be happening. And nobody should be okay with this. But if you don't see this as a racial issue, then see this as a human issue. Every human being should have an issue with this. This man was murdered by someone we trust, we put our faith in. He was murdered and we were powerless to do nothing. So this is what you gotta do. Speak up and say you're not fucking okay with this. Everybody, please, or this shit's gonna continue to happen. I don't know what else to say. Except again, I'm just trying to find a place to put this goddamn anger. All day long, I've been hearing in my head, this man say, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. And I wish I could get that out of my head. There's a part of me that wishes I never watched that video. And there's another part of me that says I needed to watch it. And everybody needs to watch it to know that this shit is happening. And nobody should be okay with this. Don't be okay with this. Don't sit there silent and say nothing and be on the wrong goddamn side of history.
Ooh, okay. That's heavy. Heavy stuff to start the show. I guess I haven't played the intro theme and I'm not going to do the standard intro and stuff because, I mean,
no.
I think I played the Batista video for a reason. He said it better than I think I could have. And I think I speak for all of us when I say we're not okay with it either.
God, no.
And I meant, I always go back to Spider-Man. I know that sounds fucking weird, but I mean, look, Ben's sitting there dressed as Hatsune Miku, so we can be as weird as we want, right? With great power comes great responsibility, and who in our society has more power than police officers, right? And I don't think it's a problem that's just in America. I think it's a problem in a lot of societies where minorities will be more often than other people on the wrong side of police interactions, and it can often turn fatal, and it's awful. And then you even see, like, did you guys see the thing in Central Park with that woman being like, there's an African-American man threatening me and my dog? Like, did you see that video as well this week?
Oh, that was very scary.
Like, that's
just,
a person...
just frightening just watching and listening to that.
That's a person just weaponizing, like, just being like, I know that you are an African-American man, you must be terrified of police because this is what can happen, and I'm just going to weapon... And just seeing all that stuff, man, this week, it's been heavy, and I felt like we couldn't not address it. Just like Batista said, like, we have to speak out against it, we have to address it. Police brutality is not okay. If it was a racist act, which Batista seems to think it was, and I think there's definitely a case for it, you know, if it was a racist act, that's not okay, and we're not okay with it, and we agree. I think he said it better than we can. So
yeah, we went over this. Greg and I went over this yesterday. So a lot of my I've vented a lot watching this, and I see it as a racial issue as well. But at least we can all agree that it if nothing else, as a human issue as well. And it's a completely fucked situation, but it needs to be addressed.
Yeah, and maybe it's just because I'm a super nerd, but like with great power comes great responsibility. So if you're a police officer watching this, like I don't know, be responsible. Like because that power, like I don't know if anyone should have the kind of power that politicians and police officers have, but that's for another discussion for another day. We've got the heavy
Different
stuff out of the
podcast.
way. Let's reset. And let's get into some wrestling talk. What do you guys think?
Let's try to have fun for an
Yeah.
hour or so and
Yeah.
Yes.
see what happens.
Try to take our minds off all the crazy. Let's do it.
And now, the B Plus Wrestling Podcast. Watch global. Support local. It's the B Plus Wrestling Podcast.
You might not be an A, but you are a B plus.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and non-binary friends? I said it wrong. I'm so shaken by it all. I can't even reset, man. Oh goddamn. What's up, ladies, gents, and non-binary friends? Welcome to the B Plus Podcast. I'm your host, Greg Does Things, here to do the thing where we talk about pro fucking wrestling. Joined, of course, by Hatsune Benku.
Yeah, Benny and the Refs is sitting out for a little bit. I will throw the shirt on for the quiz later. So the quiz is back. Make sure everyone tunes in and plays along with that.
So we're gonna need
towards the end of the show.
Wait, so we're gonna need a little pause to while you go and get changed. You need you. There's costume changes. in
Shirt's
this
going
show
straight
now.
over the top of this. It's
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
Costume
And
Seamless.
I've got a background stored for that as well. You know, I'm going all out. I'm
This is-
all in actually.
all in on
Going
this.
double
All
or
in
nothing.
with being
maybe.
all out. All right.
And Mr. Mysterious over there.
I'm half out at the moment.
How you doing, my man?
Yeah, I'm going all right. I'm trying to reset as well, but crossing off a thing off the bucket list, podcasting in my PJs. So see how we go.
In your pajamas? Yeah, I'm like all like business up here, but I'm party down below, man. Like you guys can't see the lower half, so I'm like trackies. I'm relaxed. It's all good. I'm not even business up here. I'm wearing a fucking hoodie. What am I talking about business? I'm wearing a hoodie. But,
The wrestling business. The wrestling
hell
business.
yeah, wrestling
Sure.
is my religion. This is a World Series wrestling shirt. Get out, support local graps. It's what we're all
Yep.
about here. But no, let's jump straight in and talk about some more positive news. The thing that we cannot name, Ben.
Yeah. Okay.
The thing that we cannot name is calming. Restrictions are easing, and we may see a return to professional wrestling here in Australia pretty soon. I'm excited.
I think there's like 6 active in Tasmania, so we're doing good.
Yeah. I think we have one active here, which is pretty dope. But
Oh, nice work.
We're perking up here in WA because there was a stock ship that came on, and there was people who tested positive for COVID. So there's cases.
You're not supposed to say the words.
Oh shit! Damn it, Ben! You cursed me.
I did not.
for
It
the
was not
sore
my
throat
fault.
virus. The
All
sore
right.
throat virus.
But yeah, so I haven't said anything. But yeah, so we still got a few cases here, but the restrictions are thankfully actually easing here in WA. And come June 6th, I think they're going to allow full contact sports allowed again, which also means wrestling. So
Yes. Okay.
Nice. So no dates announced across the country as of yet that I know of. But
no,
but-
too soon. But yeah,
But it could happen soon. It could happen soon.
good. So.
Probably still with socially distanced crowds, like we're seeing in America. But
Mhm.
there's also I've saw some stuff just before we went live. I saw an article about there is a potential path now, especially for the majors, but for foreign wrestlers in the US. So people like Park, who hasn't been able to work AEW, or people like there's a bunch that haven't been able to work WWE and stuff, right? Oh, what's going on
Like
there?
you think
Oh, wow. Okay, so Zoom's telling me that we're going to run out of time in 10 minutes. So I don't know how we're going to handle that.
Why is there a time remaining on Zoom? What does this mean?
I have no idea. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah, I have
And
no...
Ting, right? This is a movie about a girl that wants to be a wrestler while wearing a hashim.
No, we're not talking
Question
about the
number
movie yet.
one.
Don't-
Wait, come on, I'm getting it on now.
Everything's on fire.
Quick, Mysterious, what do you need to say?
Greg, any updates here?
I'm working on it, man. I'm fixing this. You guys, if you
Okay.
want to go ahead and talk about, if you guys just want to go ahead and talk about Relentless Pro, because I think, Ben, you brought this to my attention. Let's pull up the
Yeah, so was it JXT, Big Rock Rig? What's his name?
Big Rig,
And
Fox.
his two friends are opening a wrestling school. So I
Jake
take
Navarra
that
as well.
it's
Jake
in
Navarra.
that would be in Melton, though, wouldn't it? They said west of Melbourne, but they didn't. I don't think they've named a place.
Well,
but
they
I
had
know
a promotion for
JXT's from there.
they had a promotion for a short while, yeah.
That Mayhem Pro, they did run every 3 or 4 months, I think, didn't they?
Yeah, so I know they have a ring, so it's Big Rig's ring. But yeah, I all I know is that they've opened. Like, you sent me a link to the Facebook, and I had a quick look, and I was like, oh, cool, they're opening a school. They're a lot younger than, like, I mean, I know JXT's been doing it for quite a while, but I expect, opening schools guys to be, I guess what matters is the experience more so than.
Depends when you start. Honestly, you can start like really young, or you can start your wrestling journey when you're a bit older. Just can't say who's a veteran and who's not at the moment.
Yeah, so I'm not too familiar with who's that third person. It's
Jake Navarra,
somebody?
yeah. He's
Jake
also
Navarra,
he
was
also
it?
runs he's like a personal trainer as well, like just did his day job.
Oh, that 100 fit thing. Is that what it is?
100 fit, 1,000 fit, something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's a number.
Sorry guys, I'm normally
Doesn't-
way better than this, but I'm also currently upgrading my Zoom so that I don't get cut off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
That's
they've
all right.
opened a new wrestling school in Melbourne. So if you're in Melbourne and you want to become
How
a
well
pro
can Greg
wrestler-
multitask? That is the question at the moment.
I'm
for the
gonna
next
tell
7
you, I
minutes.
feel like I'm doing pretty damn well right now. I think that
You are.
yeah, if you're in Melbourne and you want to become a pro wrestler, you now have another place that you can do it.
Yeah, there is the local schools in every state, which is a wonderful thing. We can actually say that now. So
Yeah, right, because Darwin have one, Tasmania, yeah, every single state has wrestling schools now. So Australia's well covered with pro wrestling, man. We're killing it.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I remember back when I was in like high school and college, and I'd like look up wrestling schools, and I found like one of them in Australia. I think like Australian wrestling was such a small thing, or at least it seemed for me at the time. I don't know what the scene was actually like in say 2001, 2002.
Yeah, it's
It's a different
Very
era,
different.
most definitely.
very different. So I'm being told I can't close my page right now. Success! Okay. So that was, I mean, they really needled me there. They're just like, we're going to cut you off air unless you pay us money. There you go. So guys, if you want to go to the Patreon, it's still active. We don't really produce Patreon exclusive content. We're still figuring things out. But if you do want to support us, because now I'm the further $21 in the hole. Thank you, Zoom, for just springing that on us. Did you guys know Zoom costs money?
No, I
did
had no
not.
idea. But last week we were doing this, and it didn't. We get a message come up saying, "Oh, you've got a free upgrade or something." We're like, "Oh, I guess we don't know what that
Maybe you have
was
a
about."
certain amount of times you can use unlimited minutes. So maybe that's the thing.
No idea. But I tell you what, they caught me off guard. So that's it. We're in the hole.
So what
now.
happens when this timer hits zero?
Well,
I
I've
guess
upgraded.
we'll find
I've
out.
upgraded, so hopefully it's still in this meeting. It's saying remaining meeting time 5:27, upgrade to pro. But I just did that. So if we get cut
I
off,
need to restart the call, but
if
we'll,
we get
we'll
cut
see,
off
we'll see
and
what
we have to
happens.
restart the call, then we get cut off and we have to restart the call. But the reason this was so awkward for me was because our next segment had me going to another full screen video, and I can't really go to the full screen video when I also have that screen needing to pay and putting up my credit card information. But now we can. Now we can switch to the full screen video. So,
A man of many talents here, Greg.
oh
Good
man,
work.
look, you know what? I think I handled that well. Let's watch a video, you guys.
You've been doing a lot of talking.
time for talk is over. And there's only one way we can settle this. Daddy.
Tomorrow.
That
Can't wait.
That is taking place tomorrow, and I've taken us to the wrong side. There we go.
You're a bit quiet, Greg.
I'm a bit
I don't know
quiet.
if it's just me.
I don't know.
You've gone really quiet.
I haven't changed a single thing on my sound. So, but yeah, tomorrow we get to see Rat Daddy versus Matty Wahlberg in beer pong. A match for the ages, a match that we've all been waiting for.
It's the match I never knew I needed until I saw it, essentially. But yeah, love Matty, love the bringing back the beer pong. Haven't seen it for a while, and yeah, just anything involving Rat Daddy, just whatever subsequent videos or build up he does after or during this, I have no idea. Gonna be happy either way.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I'm getting a word from Miss GK and Crispy Lettuce on Twitch that we're all quiet. So that's a whole lot of fun. Nothing has changed on my soundboard, so I'm going to reset everything, crank it down, and crank it back up. How's that, guys? Let us know in the chat.
Testing.
Oh, hey.
We need a live audience just to tell us if we're working.
Yeah, of course.
I've turned it all up. I don't know what else I can do. I turned it down, turned it up, because I didn't touch anything. I've closed the video because there was the video, obviously. I don't know if the video affected it, but man, this
you're really quiet now, but Mysterious is normal for me.
Yeah, I think the video affected it, man.
Okay, not Mysterious though. Mysterious was still loud. I don't know how
Yeah,
that's
you're still
happening.
quiet for me. It's going to be weird, but I'll live.
Wow. Okay. This is really awkward. Everyone's saying how the volume's really bad now. This is what happens when we go live, people. Like that's better except for Greg. Okay. I don't know what's going on, but you know, now they're saying we're fine. Okay. People are saying we're fine. We're fine.
There you go. You came back. You're louder now. It's
all right.
good.
The chat lags behind the video, so we're good. Tomorrow, we get to watch Rat Daddy vs. Matty Wahlberg in beer pong. I've been waiting for this for so long, and the video, just look at that video production, man. Like, it's the kind of video production we've come to expect from PWA, but that's not being put out by PWA, from what I can tell. It's being put out by Rat Daddy. Rat does have some fantastic videos as well. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. Do you guys have any predictions for Matty Wahlberg versus Rat Daddy in beer pong?
No idea. Is this on YouTube?
Matty
or
lost before?
Well,
how do we watch this?
Has Matty lost? I don't know. I think it's going to be on. It's going to be on the on Rat Daddy's Facebook page. That's where I got this video from. So if you want to see Rat Daddy versus Matty Wahlberg some point tomorrow, I probably should have messaged and been like, "Hey guys, when's this going up?" so I can really promote it. But I didn't because just getting the link to the video was enough work for me. But I'm excited for it, man. Like, I've been waiting for them to have a beer pong. Like, because when they sort of met in Sydney, like their paths crossed and stuff in videos and on social media, and everyone was talking about it. Like, they got to do beer pong, they got to do beer pong, they got to do beer pong. And now we get to see it. And all it took was a global thing that's happening right now. That's all it took for this to happen. So I want to know, how did they do it even? Like, was Rat in Sydney when this whole thing kicked off? Because isn't there, like, travel I don't even know.
So if he's in New South Wales still, then good luck getting back to South
because
Australia.
he was on the PWA watch party last week, and it was him and AJ Istria.
Okay.
And they were chilling, and Steph DeLanda was on it too. But AJ Istria and Rat Daddy were chilling in the same location as they do in Rat Daddy's videos. Man, I just upgraded. What the hell are you talking about? All right, guys, I'm going to pause the stream, and we're going to be right back because for some reason Zoom is really playing around with us. So I'm going to put us on pause, and we will be right back.
me all right? When we started before, I had to move my laptop on the other side of the microphone because I was on the screen. I was like looking away, and it just looked like so bad. So
Greg just said in the group chat, "Don't talk till I put us back on air."
You guys have just screwed the pooch on that one. I was like, if we can just be quiet till I get the video back, it'll look fine. It'll be great. But you just came in swinging. We're back.
is the video stream up?
Yeah, everything's nothing stopped. I just went to the pause screen while we sorted that out. So I opened up a new chat, and now you guys' names are swapped around again because you're in your original order, and I had to fix that.
Oh, can you
earlier.
move me back so I don't have to move the laptop? Because now I'm like looking down in the corner like a muppet.
So you want me to move your entire video? All right, fine. Let's fix this.
Yeah, well, he's got the names are mixed up.
Oh man.
Now
Why-
you are the mysterious one.
You know what's weird though? Like last week, everything worked like super smoothly, super perfectly. We didn't have a single issue, and I was like, sick. We're totally, absolutely, 100% ready to go live. Like the video that went up on Facebook was exactly the video that we recorded. There was zero editing needed, and this is going to go up exactly as it is as well. Because damned if I know how to edit. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Everything was fine last week, and this week's just a comedy of errors. But we're back. We're on air. Crispy Lettuce is saying, hang on, Rat Daddy left a lockdown South Australia. I don't know, man. I don't know. So that's the thing is I don't know because all I know is there's this video all of a sudden of him in Sydney, and he's doing this. They've obviously filmed this in Sydney because there's the Pro Wrestling Academy ring. So I don't know when they filmed it. I don't know how long they've had this planned. Was it always going to happen even without the global thing that's happening? I don't know. But if he did just sneak out and then come, I mean, that's a pretty rat-like thing to do. So I don't think they're checking rats at the border.
They have their own plagues.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to say plague? Is plague one of the censored words?
I'm pretty sure it's
I
a
hope
safe
not.
one.
I don't even know. All right, cool. So Ryan in the chat saying hi. How are you all? We're good, man. We're good. You know, a bit shaken up and dealing with this comedy of errors. But other than that, we're doing well. Let's move on and talk about probably the thing that's most present in the wrestling world at the moment, and that's AEW. They had Double or Nothing, obviously, just this last weekend, and I did some live reactions to it, like pretty much straight after. While I was playing TEW and Mysterious, I think you joined me for a little bit on that stream as well. But yeah, let's talk Double or Nothing because I thought it was a fucking great show.
Yeah, I thought it was wonderful. It was just one of the things that we needed, just to kind of just see how far we can go in this new era that we're in of wrestling, or lack thereof.
I wasn't completely blown away until got to the main event, and it just exceeded expectations. Like you had a bit of an idea what we're going to get from when they had the Falls Count Anywhere match, whatever it was, on Dynamite 2 weeks before. And it's like, I guess it's going to be like this, like a little bit of creativity, but it just was way beyond that, and just constantly laughing out loud. It was amazing.
Yeah, so you have a soul then.
Of course,
You have a soul because
I don't need other people's opinions to justify my own. So
no, but according to Chris Jericho, if you didn't enjoy the that main event, then you have no soul. Because he was saying that in response to our mate Jim Cornette.
yeah, so I could have guessed that's who
Yes.
you're talking about.
Yes.
And so because of Jim Cornette's comments, he was like, if you didn't enjoy the main event, you have no soul. Which, I mean, I don't know if Jim Cornette's going to take exception to that. But, you know, he always likes to stay in the news cycle somehow.
Yeah. What controversial thing can he say this week?
Yeah, pretty much. What did you guys think of Brian Cage and Taz? Because that to me is, I know everyone's talking about the main event and stuff, and like the main event was great. But as far as I'm concerned, like the best thing that happened on this show was You Can't Stop the Path of Cage. And everything to do with Brian Cage and Taz, like, because Brian Cage's one weakness, like, he's a fucking machine, right? Like, he's a straight up murderer in the ring. There's nothing that man can't do as long as he doesn't get hurt. And so,
Yes.
because that has been an issue with him. But I just, man, the one shortfall I think he has is probably the talking. Taz covers that, you know?
Taz, like he did it kind of with Samoa Joe back in the TNA days, and just having someone like Taz as that spokesperson, he's like a more grizzled Paul Heyman to Brian Cage's Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Because it does look like they're going for like that sports agent kind of vibe, right? Like, because he has the towel there.
Mm.
The orange towel.
Yeah, like-
I like that.
I thought everything in the match just worked really well when you had all the spots where like Cage eventually comes in, rips that ladder apart, and then it takes
Such a
everybody
good
to bury him, literally bury him under all the debris there is, that giant poker chip thing. And I felt like everybody had something to do in the match. And so it was a very good way to start the show. I didn't see the pre-show match, so I'm not going to talk about that one. But this ladder match was, it was really, really good.
Yeah.
Orange Cassidy during that ladder match was just fantastic. Just hopping onto Brian Cage and just the fact that he didn't even bother understanding the rules and just not even climbing a ladder. I think that's brilliant.
I mean, I liked it to an extent, the Orange Cassidy thing. Like, I'm a big fan of the Orange Cassidy shtick. You guys know this. But at a certain point, it was like, come on, dude. Like, we get it. Like, I don't want to climb a ladder. Like, I don't know. I felt like at a certain point, it was too much taking the piss. And I like a lot of taking the piss in my wrestling. And so I feel like if I think it's too much taking the piss, maybe there's a little bit. But I don't know. It was all good fun. I loved the rules, though. The whole battle royale, like people coming in one at a time into the ladder match. I thought it was great. I thought it was great having the mystery reveal. I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was
How do you
definitely-
feel that we didn't? Because I think all three of us wanted that the match to end before the final person to come out. Tough to do that when you've got a debut or your mystery person to come in. But next time they have one of these, do you reckon they'll definitely end the match before
They
everybody's
have
out?
to, or else what's the point of the stipulation? Because they explicitly said it can end before. So I thought they were going to. Because like you said last week, right? Like they did that with Cody and Darby and the time limits and stuff. Speaking of Darby, in the chat, Donnelly's in the chat. Hey Donnelly, how you doing? He's like, Darby tried to kill himself a lot. Yes. I cringed so
he does.
hard when he jumped off the top with that skateboard. What are you thinking? What are you thinking? Like off the ladder with the skateboard, like he was dropping into a half pipe onto Frankie Kazarian on a ladder. Frankie moved out of the way, obviously, thank God.
Yeah.
But snaps the ladder and just like, how are you alive? How is Darby Allin alive?
It was a way to keep him out of the match for a little bit, I suppose. And Joey Janela come in and just like threw himself on everybody, and that was a bit of fun too.
Yeah. Janela wasn't meant to be in the match, was he? He replaced.
No,
No,
that was
he
meant to
was
be
the
Ray
last
Phoenix.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. He replaced Phoenix, and that was a great replacement. Like if you're gonna have someone else out there in that match, I think Joey Janela is the guy to throw in because he's gonna.
So
go
that
out there.
change happened after we recorded last time, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
last minute. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of Darby Allin, just since we had Donnelly talk about Darby trying to kill himself a lot, and I know he's a big fan of Darby, so while he's here with us live, let's take a look at this.
God, don't mess up the audio, gang.
we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But I'm gonna skip us over to this video. I want you guys to see this. This video surfaced this week of Darby Allin, and it's worth a look. So
what was this? What is TLC? Is this some sort of parody interview program? What's the deal? there? Do we know?
So this came out because he was on Chris Van Vliet this week. And Chris Van Vliet does fantastic interviews. If anyone doesn't know Chris Van Vliet, like what the hell are you doing here? Go watch Chris Van Vliet. No, stick around, please. But Chris Van Vliet does amazing wrestling interviews, and he had a chat with Darby, and he uncovered this video of. So Darby was on an episode of a show called Sex Sent Me to the ER. TLC is the learning channel. And it's like that's the channel that Honey Boo Boo was on. Is that her name? Honey Boo Boo?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the mum, the dance mums, all that stuff. That's all TLC, right? So it's like really stupid, over the top reality junk. And Darby was on a show called Sex Sent Me to the ER. First off, a show exists called Sex Sent Me to the ER. I have questions.
Mm-hmm.
So many questions. But this apparently isn't even a true story. So
Seamless.
I'll pour it
No
into
one
your
saw
glass. How
that.
does that sound?
Okay, that sounds wonderful, actually. Yeah.
No one saw that. No one saw that. I was trying to get the link shared on the Facebook group and all that stuff again. We're back online.
Oh, no, that only works for out. I've got to do it down
Okay.
this way. I'm looking at the wrong one.
Yeah.
What the hell are you guys trying to do?
He's
I'm giving
pouring
him
me a
some-
glass. He's pouring me a glass.
Here you go. Have some water, Mysterious.
All right.
But it doesn't work because you don't have anyone filling the water up. It would have looked cool if you actually had someone there.
The screen's so small you can't tell.
What's up, everybody? We're back. My internet
We're
went
back.
down. We're in the middle of a storm here in South Australia, so you know that's
that.
fun.
So you were going through explaining the thing about Darby Allen, the sex sent me to the ER story,
Yeah, so I want to
and
know if everyone saw the video. Did the video finish at least before we cut
the
out?
video finished. We were talking before when it cut out.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so basically, he made the entire story up. He was broke at the time, and he needed cash, and he saw this ad in the paper, and so he submitted a story, got accepted, got offered to be flown to LA and put up in a hotel, and then he had to scramble around on Craigslist to organize an actress, an aspiring actress that he could pay out of his $800 he was going to get. He could pay her to come in and pretend to be this girl in this story that he made up about having sex and getting stung by bees.
It's
So-
a bit weird that you would reenact your own story though for one of these shows, isn't it?
Well, he wasn't
Yeah.
in
Shouldn't
the
they-
reenactment. He wasn't in the reenactment.
Well, I thought that was him.
No, they
looked
were
very
actually
similar.
different people. Looked similar.
Oh, okay, all right.
But-
Maybe it was Tommy Lee's drug riddled son or something. I don't know.
He did have a Tommy Lee thing going on, didn't he?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I just thought it was. I thought it was Darby Allin, both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no,
As did I.
it was an actor that looked like Darby Allin, which I don't get. Why wouldn't you just have them reenact it themselves? Like,
That seems a bit silly. Anyway,
no, but like you're already
Can we-
paying them, then you're gonna pay other actors to pretend to be them.
did they find out soon after this that it was all made up, or they just they
I
figured
don't
it
think.
would
I don't
be
think
good
so.
content?
So this all came out in the Chris Van Vliet podcast. So I don't think they knew that he made the story up, and and he's revealed it like 5 years later because this is a show from like 5 years ago. So
Yeah.
yeah, I know it's pretty hilarious. Sorry, I'm still getting everything right on the socials. Let us know in the chat if. So Ryan's in the chat. So I guess we're back up because there's comments coming in. So Ryan's like, when do you think we'll be able to go to live wrestling shows? We talked about that at the top of the show, man. Like here in Australia, it looks like things are easing, and it should be pretty soon, right? Like it looks like sometime in the next month or so, hopefully.
At the earliest, I'd say, yeah, like in WA, because we talked about the restrictions. I've seen a couple of other companies like AWF, they were sending out feelers about maybe doing a show in August. Yeah. See what happens.
Stay tuned. As soon as shows get announced,
We'll-
like we'll be letting you know for sure. So just keep
Absolutely,
tuning into the
yeah.
streams. You know, hit the follow button on twitch.tv/GregDoesThings. Hit the like button on Facebook. Join us. You know, get those notifications. Follow us on YouTube. We'll let you know as soon as anything's coming back. But let's get back to our AEW chat because I mean we got sidetracked there with comments about Darby, and I wanted to show you guys that video because I thought it was fucking hilarious. But let's get back to AEW. So the other big talking point out of Double or Nothing. I mean, we have a new champion. The belt is ugly, but the belt is not finished.
We had 2 new champions.
We had 2 new champions.
Women's
Yeah,
champion.
we-
Oh right,
and
yeah,
Yeah.
no, the women's champion. Yeah, of course. Yeah, my bad. Yeah,
Yes, none of us saw that coming.
No.
no, we all got the prediction wrong. But I mean, for me, it was just a matter of like I wanted Cheetah to win, but I was just like I like
Too
long
soon,
title
too
reigns.
soon.
Yeah, I like long
we're
title
we're
reigns.
exactly the same on that. But when she won, I'm like, I was glad that she won, and you know, she won so many times leading up to it, except for like the very episode before, and I was just like, they've built up so much, just go all the way at this point, and it was great. That was my favorite match apart from the main event.
Yeah, hell yeah. My favorite part of the entire show was just Sammy Guevara just bumping like a madman everywhere. Like
The
biggest one.
100-yard
Yeah,
suplex, or not even 100 yards, maybe probably more. I don't know.
I really hope that they were doing like because they were cutting away from that to other bits. I hope he
Yeah.
didn't just take the suplex all across the length of the field. Like I hope they
No.
cut
Yeah.
away and then they just got up and ran and moved.
And
further
Matt
down the-
Jackson had his rib injury as well while he was doing it. Also,
Yeah, yeah. So it was a crazy match. That main event though, the cowboy spot as well. When
everything in the bar stuff was all my favorite. It just
bar
seemed
stuff
like
was so
so
good.
well choreographed and as just one thing to the next to the next. It wasn't just I want to grab somebody and just smash them in, throw them into the rubbish bins, throw them into the wall, throw them into another rubbish bin. It was so much better than that.
Yeah, I think this was peak. So we talked about last week with Money in the Bank how this is what happens when you tell Vince McMahon that cinematic wrestling is popular. He throws in shitty comedy like the food fight, like the wet floor and people slipping on the wet floor and there's no sign and all that sort of stuff. It's just the dumb shit that only Vince finds funny, you know. But this was like the opposite of that. Like it was the same because this wasn't the serious cinematic stuff that we got at WrestleMania with Cena and Wyatt or with I mean, if you can call that the Undertaker and AJ Styles match serious, like it was hokey, but it was serious in its own way, right?
Yeah.
Like that B grade serious makes it hokey and it's funny for a different reason. But this was intended to be funny. There was intended to be moments that made you laugh, like Matt Hardy in the pool of reincarnation, right? Like all of that stuff, the stuff sitting down at the bar, you're meant to pop for that, but then they get serious and they start beating the shit out of each other. It was just the right amount of comedy sprinkled in and like ridiculousness. It was hilarious. And it was the opposite of Money in the Bank in that way.
From the beginning, like they're doing the football entrances through the smoke and all that, and the marching band, and then they all run at each other each from the end zones, and it's like, oh man, this is actually going to be quite special.
Yeah, yeah, I loved
it
the
just
football
escalated
entrances
so much
too.
from there.
I
Like
loved
somebody
the
ran
football
into the drop kick, like the first thing, and doing drop kick on the football field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they kept it going. They kept it going on Dynamite with the pep rally, right?
Yes.
Like treating the inner circle like these jocks, and they've got the pep rally and stuff. And then, of course, we had the big Mike Tyson angle, which I flashed the photo accidentally a couple of times, but there it is. Mike Tyson getting in Jericho's face. It looks like, are we going to get a Jericho versus Tyson match?
I feel like that's where we're leading to.
We
I
have
don't know
to,
why they
right?
put this much effort in if we weren't going to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't feel
I
like
mean-
something that Tony Khan or Jericho would want to do. What the hell? Zoom's giving
I don't
me
know.
the-
Is Jericho good enough to carry him through a match? And you don't know if Mike Tyson's just going to goof off during a match. And he seems, oh my god, what's going on?
Yeah, I don't know. Zoom's giving me the upgrade message again. I literally upgraded, got the success message. In the chat, Miss GK was like, did you just get scammed? Maybe I did. Maybe I got scammed. Like, what the hell? Why is this happening? You guys keep talking double or nothing while I have a look at this.
Oh,
Okay.
Ben and I were talking while we were offline. He's just saying one of his favorite matches was the world title match.
What? That it was? No, it wasn't. Also, one of the favorite matches on the show, I guess.
Yeah.
Like when they really turned it up at the end when they spilled outside and went through the staging, and that was so close that was it Moxley's head, or it looked like he was about to hit that beam when they smashed through the flooring.
Yeah.
And then they came back out, and the match was like, it was leading up to this point. I was a bit disappointed in the overall show. Like the women's match beforehand was great, and then this one is like, okay, that's a bit of a plodding match, but then it really got hot for those last few minutes, the finishing stretch, and then it was over. I was like, right, let's see what this main event has in store for us. Were you on board all the way through, Moxley and Brody Lee, or not?
Yeah, no, I was personally because I love the finish, how it doesn't invalidate everything going on with the Dark Order right now, and Mr. Brody kept to his word that he would never give in, never surrender in this match, and then he didn't. He passed out, and there's a lot more story to be told with the Dark Order that they still want to tell. Obviously, like you had on this week's Dynamite, how Cabana got given a flyer after being eliminated in the Battle Royal. So little seeds there, what we could see later on, but No, I enjoyed it, and it's hard to. Like, wasn't sure whether it would be better to actually end the pay per view with the world title match or with the Stampede, but they made the right call.
Yeah, it had to be a stamp. Like, end with the fireworks and all that stuff going on. So
Yeah,
it was an incredible visual. And
Yeah.
I think Greg predicted that the Inner Circle was going to win, didn't they? And I think we both went the Elite.
I predicted as well. I thought it'd be in a circle, and then when they have their
Blood and Guts.
their match beyond their blood and guts match, I thought that was going to be the one where the Elite finally win, but like maybe because they don't know when that's going to happen, so you can reignite it so that they're both tied one apiece, so that's totally fine. Like,
Yeah. Does this mean Inner Circle's tied up with Mike Tyson stuff for the time being?
That's the
And
direction they're going,
think-
right?
Jericho
what's the Elite
at
gonna
the very
do?
least, yeah.
I suppose there's the tag title matches with
Yeah, well,
Omega and all that coming up.
Yeah, they have roles like because you have Cody with the TNT Championship. He has to defend it every week.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's just part of the title, that stipulation of the title, or that's just Cody just trying to be a fighting champion. You have the Young Bucks with the new arrival in AEW, and Kenny can find something absolutely.
So do you think we're going to see like Zack Ryder and these guys turn up for these TNT title matches, these bunch of one-offs, like a Jeff Cobb type of situation, maybe?
I can see one-offs most definitely. Zack Ryder. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on his actual name, but
Matt
Cardona.
Cardona?
yeah, he teased a lot of that he might be interested in answering one of the open challenges.
Oh yeah, well he straight away
they
on
were
Twitter
actually-
was like
yeah.
open challenge with the eyes, like he's like looking at it. and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think I don't know how I feel about the open challenge thing. Like, to me, it sort of makes a bit of a mockery of the whole wins and losses matter. If anyone can come out through the curtain and challenge, if you say the number 2 or 3 person in the rankings, whoever it is, every week will get a shot. Like, I don't know. It's difficult because they do the wins and losses matter and they do the rankings. I feel like having an open challenge kind of flies in the face of that a little. Am I the only one who's thinking that? Because I haven't even seen that take online anywhere.
Open challenge would be much better when there's a live audience, so then you can get the big pop for like surprise if it's guest people coming in. But
Yeah.
until they do that, I would like them to stick to whoever's like good in the rankings.
I think by open challenge, it will actually link to the rankings. So obviously we have Jungle Boy first off, and then the next episode Dynamite will be the factor. Just to, I would like it to be tied to the rankings so that anyone who is at the top or near the top
Yeah.
can go for the TNT title, or if they maybe that's the thing where if they stick it out, they might get a world title shot, or they can just say like I want a TNT shot right now. I can see a lot of that going forward.
We did determine Jungle Boy Jack Perry as the first number 1 contender out of that battle royal. I enjoyed it. Like I feel like with everything at the moment, because there's no live crowd, it's less of an impact on AEW than it is elsewhere. But matches feel too long, right? Like I think we've touched on that a few times. Like a few matches felt like, oh, it could have ended a little bit earlier. It could have ended a little bit earlier. Like we keep saying that, and I think it's just because there's less crowd interaction and stuff makes it harder. But I felt like the battle royal went for a little bit too long. But also the big takeaway from me out of this battle royal, other than Jungle Boy, like Jungle Boy and fucking. He's a great person to challenge for the title. Like I'm looking forward to that match. But having Luchasaurus in there with Billy Gunn, big mistake in my opinion. Because as a person who grew up on the era where Billy Gunn was in the tag team and stuff, he wasn't considered a big guy, right?
No, not intentionally.
Like I guess on commentary this time around, they're putting over. He's like these guys are 6'5", 6'6", right? But back in the day, Billy Gunn wasn't considered a big guy because you had your
It was just a
Undertakers.
normal.
Yeah, he was just a
King of the
normal
Ring
guy,
winner.
which-
Yeah.
yeah, but no, I'm not talking about big in terms
Stature,
of
body-
name.
body
I'm talking
size
about
wise.
body size.
Yeah.
Right, and
Yeah.
you want Luchasaurus to be this giant, and all it does is show how much smaller wrestlers have gotten. And now I'm sounding like Jim Cornette. But it does. It shows how much
Put your
smaller
tennis racket
wrestlers have
away,
gotten.
will you?
Because he was never a monster, is probably the better word for it. He was never considered a monster, but now he's in there and he's the same size as a guy who is a monster now. And it's, if you've been watching long enough, I think for a lot of people, they haven't been watching since then, and so it's okay. But for me, I was like, oh, it's really putting over how small wrestlers are now, you know?
Well, that's why you get a big guy like Brian Cage in to help pad out the roster with more beefier blokes.
Yeah, having a beast like Brian Cage in there definitely helps. I don't know. I just thought that was a big standout to me. Was like, is Billy big or is Luchasaurus just small? Because they were putting it over like Billy was big, but I'd never heard JR refer to him as a hoss before, you know. And so it's like, I don't know. Luchasaurus kind of sounds small now.
He's a brontosaurus. He's a tall dinosaur.
He's a tall boy. The other big news, of course, FTR showing up face to face with the Bucks for the first time. Oh man, I wish they saved this for the live crowd though.
Yeah,
You don't know how long that's going to be. So, we should
think
mention
that-
Brian Cage was he was hired back in January, was it? And so he's been getting paid since then, while he's been
Yeah,
set
he has
out
been
with his
with-
injury.
yeah.
So they don't mind paying people early and just not using them. So they could have done that with FTR to lock them down.
Yeah, they definitely could have gotten him under contract and then just waited. But maybe they were just like, no, we don't want to wait. Because we do know that the artist has a lot of say in AEW. And if they were like, we're itching to just fucking wrestle, because they were sitting out for the last however long of their contracts in WWE, right? Like they weren't on TV.
3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were sitting around waiting. So maybe, like, you know, these guys love wrestling and they want to get into it. And so, you know, I think that's probably playing a big role as well. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause our stream, guys, because we do have this same issue with Zoom. It's telling us we had the 40-minute time limit again, even though I upgraded and I reset the meeting. So we're going to reset the meeting again, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk. We're going to make the switch from AEW stuff to talk about some WWE stuff. So let's hit the pause button for a minute. Please, guys, stick with us in the chat. I see your comment there. Matthew, you have something to say about the mystery hacker on SmackDown. We are going to talk about SmackDown. We're going to talk about the mystery hacker. So stick around, and we'll be right back.
Anything that's chill, jump on it.
And the cameras have swapped again. Why can't you guys enter the chat in the same order that you entered the chat last time? Why can't you do
Hi, Ben.
Is that the way?
that? We're back. Do you want me to swap them again? Do you still feel weird
Yes.
looking down into the corner?
Yes,
I'm
because
fine
I'm
with-
looking down to nothing. And
All
it's
right,
just
all
terrible.
right. Let's get this done. All right. Now we want to talk WWE this time around. I'm going to have so much fun editing the podcast version of this.
Good luck.
I am not sleeping tonight. All right.
Okay, so we were talking about FTR before we had to.
Well, no, I think
abruptly
we
stop
were
again.
going to switch to WWE stuff now. So let's
Yeah.
sort of jump over, and I don't even remember what I've got up next. So let's just pull up the next picture, and that should tell me what our next topic is. Right, congratulations, Jojo Offerman and Big Bray Wyatt.
He's popping them out pretty quickly. It's his second kid in like a couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, what? Nash was born like probably a year, like we talked about it probably a year ago today, almost like it wasn't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the Fiend's been around as long as he's had his first child, so
yeah.
that should say something.
He's definitely a fiend, apparently. So
I'm glad
Nash,
someone made that connection.
Nash is joined by Hyrie Von Rotunda, so little baby girl, and like we just need all the positive news we can get this week. You know
We
what I
need
mean?
all the positive.
Yeah, definitely need all the
Yeah.
positive news we can get.
So we can maybe expect Bray's going to take a little break to be with his newborn, which means maybe, like, obviously we could not, but I reckon it'd be good if he takes a break because we just had Braun Strowman defeat Bray Wyatt, not the Fiend. So
Right.
when he comes back, he'll be as the Fiend, and Braun will have had a longer Universal reign. And then, yeah, when it's time for him to do that rematch, yeah.
I mean, look, it's no secret here that I don't really watch week to week WWE anymore. I watch highlights. I watch as much as I can handle. But you know, news like this always warms the heart to see. Unlike people, more names being added to the list of people that are out of work, right? Like, so we do have Nigel McGuinness.
Furloughed.
Yeah. Does anyone know what that means? We talked about this before, right? Like, what the hell is a furlough?
It must be an American thing.
When the coast is clear, that he can come back.
Yeah. But in the meantime, good luck eating.
Yeah.
Because you're not getting paid. I hope you saved your pennies. And like Nigel McGuinness is a guy who, if you like, get out and watch the what was it called? Chasing the Magic. The Nigel McGuinness story on WWE Network. Such a good documentary. Like, WWE Network documentaries are fantastic. We gotta set a block of time next week to talk about The Last Ride. Have you guys watched The Last Ride yet?
I don't have the network, so no.
Okay, I'll make sure you're hooked up with the B Plus login, so we can.
How long does this programming go for?
Oh, you're looking like 5 hours. Because it's 5 episodes.
I don't remember signing up for this, Greg. Thank you.
Well, look, you
Send me,
gave
like,
us
2
some
episodes.
awful wrestling movies. You gave us look. If you watch 2 episodes and don't want to watch the rest, then you know I'll pay that. I'll allow that. You know.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you watch the first 2, you'll want to watch them. If you put aside
That's
his
fair.
political shirts.
5 hours in a week. I haven't mentioned yet, but I've worked 48 days in a row, and it's rolling through. I'm going to hit 54 next week.
Still going.
So,
Still going.
Still
on that
going.
count.
Thought
Yeah.
thought I was getting today off, but no. Well,
No.
could have had today off, but the option was there. So
Got called in.
I'm going to have to send you some money for this Zoom thing apparently now. I've got no excuse why I can't contribute financially.
Oh man, this the Zoom. I don't even know what's going on. Let's try to get this done in the next 40 minutes, guys. I checked the website. It definitely says that it's accepted my payment, and I'm now a Zoom Pro member, which I didn't even know existed. Because the only other context I use Zoom in is uni, and like I've never had to in 3-4 hour lectures there. Obviously, the uni have to pay. I don't know how it works. Whatever. But yeah, Nigel McGuinness, he's been stood down. Unlike you, an essential worker getting 48 days in a row, he's just sitting at home, and he's someone who has struggled with a lot of mental health issues. And so I hope he's okay, because I love Nigel McGuinness. I love his work. I love his work before WWE, and I love him as a commentator. And I hope he's okay through this, because mental health is something that we're not talking about in this whole global thing that's going on. And it's a very important thing with people being isolated and stuff. Checking in on each other. So, you know, at Nigel McGuinness and let him know you love him, I guess, because I worry about that guy.
Fair enough.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. Someone not to worry about though. This guy. Not me. Drew Gulak. He's
Well done.
yeah. He's re-signed. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you
so
sent it to me in the
he,
chat, I was like, "Did you say resigned or re-signed?" Because you didn't.
Yeah, no.
hyphenate.
No, he has re-signed with the company after letting his contract expire a couple weeks ago after his great tournament match, IC tournament match against Daniel Bryan. I thought maybe he would appear at AEW because he didn't have anything on his contract. He didn't have a no compete clause or anything. Like he could have literally just waltzed over to AEW and could have done that, but it was a money reason that they were negotiating, and we don't know specifics. I haven't seen SmackDown, so I don't think he's on. He didn't appear again, or
No, I've only seen highlights, and I didn't
Okay.
notice him there. So I
yeah,
sort of
to
watched
my
bits and
knowledge, he
pieces,
hasn't
yeah.
appeared again yet, but he has been put back on the current active roster on the website. So, yeah.
Yeah, let us know in the chat if we're wrong, if he did show up on SmackDown. We've got Ryan here saying he thinks Elias got screwed out of said IC title tournament that his last match was a part of. So Elias got screwed out of it. Just leave it. She's talking about the Zoom. I'm being told to just leave the Zoom thing alone. The Elias got screwed out of the IC title. So did you see the angle today with Elias getting run over by a car?
I've heard about
Yes.
it, and it seems
Yes.
very stupid.
It-
Poor taste.
It does, doesn't it? So let's just bring up the next photo here. Jeff Hardy was arrested today. Wrong one. There we go. It was a work.
Yeah.
It wasn't a shoot this
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So he got arrested on the show for driving whilst intoxicated.
Yeah.
But he passed the test, didn't he?
I just
So he's all good.
like just leave that there for a second. Like they're turning this into a fucking angle. Like
They knew this was a bad idea when they did it with Road Warrior Hawk way back in the Attitude Era, and it's like I can't believe they still do this shit.
so Matthew Stacey
Well,
says that Drew Gulak was on this week.
Okay.
Yeah. So he was a part of this week's SmackDown. So I've only seen highlights and clips because that happened today, and preparing for this and doing other things today, so I didn't get a chance to watch SmackDown live. But I don't really watch the entire show anyway because it's hard to watch. Like they've introduced the plexiglass stuff. Can we talk about that quickly? They've introduced crowds now with WWE. They're about 6 weeks behind AEW on that.
They don't want to look like they're copying too much. Come on. They did the camera angle. They changed the hard camera after one episode. They're not going to copy everything immediately.
Yeah, well,
It's a great idea, but I should really point out the fact that because the crowd is made up of NXT stars and trainees and everything else who are going to use that same ring a couple hours later,
Yeah.
it kind of invalidates the plexiglass, but it shows that they're trying.
It makes no sense. What's the point
I
of
know.
the glass? What's the point of it? What's the point?
And
There's
apparently-
0 point.
Apparently they've got to stand there the entire time for like they shoot a 3-hour Raw and then a 2-hour SmackDown straight afterwards, and they don't get to sit down.
Who are you trying to protect? Who?
It's just the aesthetics, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's like they spent 6 weeks trying to figure out how they could look different to AEW while doing the same thing. That's what it is. They were just trying to figure out how they could look different. Then they had to order in the plexiglass, and you know what shipping's like with the current global thing that's going on, and manufacturing with the current global thing that's going on. You can't get good plexiglass anywhere. So it took them a while to differentiate themselves. So Drew Gulak was part of the Battle Royal to replace. It was either replace Elias or replace Jeff Hardy in the match. But yeah, so he was part of that Battle Royal. Jeff Hardy got arrested for driving whilst intoxicated. Matt Hardy tweets out, just to reiterate, I am glad that I'm working for Tony Khan.
I didn't realize what that was about. I saw the tweet, but I didn't get the reference.
Shade. The shade on that
Yeah.
tweet. Yeah, that's 100%
Yeah.
what it was about. It had to be.
Yeah.
Like, he's just like, I'm glad I don't have to deal with this shit anymore. Why did Jeff say yes to it? Why?
Maybe well,
Why?
they were leaning into that with the whole Sheamus story, and then they've expanded on it, and
Yeah,
boy,
well,
have they.
the stuff after the show went off air, they released updates on the social. I did like the way it was shot and everything, with Renee Young opening the show, and she does well as like the investigative journalist. Like I like that. I liked what I saw of it. I thought it was
Absolutely.
it was well shot. It was just in poor taste. It was very well shot. It was very well set up. I enjoyed it. Like, it's the kind of angle that would make me watch. Makes me go, oh, this is interesting. I'm enjoying this. This seems fun. But he was probably drunk. Yeah, that's the. So in the chat, Miss GK says he probably said yes because he was drunk. That's why. No, he's clean now. Allegedly, I don't know. He goes off the rails every couple of months. But I just think that it was in poor taste, but it looked great. It makes me want to watch. Renee Young doing the investigative reporter thing, the cop sniffing the bottle of beer, that you could tell it was a bottle of beer because it looked like beer. It was either beer or piss, and it was full. The car had crashed, but the beer was full.
So it should have everywhere.
But little things, little attention to details that you missed there, WWE. But no, it was. I'm glad they're doing stuff like this, like trying to keep it fresh and stuff. But they released on social media afterwards that he passed the sobriety tests. So why he was acting incoherent, we don't know. That's just Jeff Hardy, apparently.
Yeah, that's the way he is.
That's just him. But he passed the sobriety tests. So now it looks like the angle they're going for is Sheamus set him up, which would explain why the beer was still full. And the papers that say Jeff Hardy were there and not in Jeff Hardy's pocket. Because, if you crash your car, you take your papers with you. You don't leave. Like, it's a rental.
Must be an American thing.
Yeah. So I guess Sheamus is trying to set up Jeff Hardy. That's the way it looks like the angle's going. But just only in Vince land, right?
Yeah.
Can we get a Dark Side of the Ring just about Vince McMahon?
I think we just had
It
that.
would be
didn't
a
we?
season. It would be a season. It wouldn't be an episode. It would be a season of
just
it.
with everyone's stories talking about. I don't know, man. Yeah, but that's not the only thing that happened on SmackDown. Some stuff happened on SmackDown that I'm actually a big fan of. Look at that mug. Look at that mug shot. Oh man, Jeff, get well. Matt Riddle. Look at that. That's a mug shot. Look at that sexy man. Matt Riddle's officially getting called up to SmackDown.
I want to point out that now Goldberg and Matt Riddle are on the same brand. So
I was going to say, how does this sit with the Goldberg stuff?
Does Goldberg have a brand?
Can it happen?
Goldberg has a brand, does he?
Like he was formerly the Universal Champion before, so technically he's on the SmackDown roster. Yeah.
I'm sure if he wanted to come back on Raw, he would. Like, if he was going to come back at all.
That's true. I'm
like, where does it sit him in regards to Brock Lesnar? And I'm like, does it really matter? If they want to do Riddle versus Lesnar, they will. They have that new invitation rule, right?
Yeah.
Which is just the wild card rule with a different name.
With extra steps.
Because
with a semblance of actual rules to it.
Because fuck you, viewer. That's why. Because fuck you, viewer. They don't care. They just don't care. That's the big deal. I feel like such a jerk when I talk so highly about AEW, and then like it sounds like I'm just shitting on WWE. And I love WWE. I want them to be better. But it just feels like they flip you off with everything. Like, even when it comes to the fans in attendance at the moment in this global thing that's going on era, like how they have the wrestlers at ringside. In AEW, it just feels like the wrestlers are having fun. In WWE, it feels like they're being told, stand there and cheer and act like a video game crowd.
Because it looks like the video game stuff.
Because in the video game, they're constantly doing this, even when nothing's happening. Like, you got to do it in a headlock, and they're like, and it's stupid. It's stupid. It's fake. It's pretend. This is why people say wrestling is fake. Man. Man. Not into it. And I do have to address, we had someone in the chat earlier say, I think it was Matthew, said that he thinks that the mystery hacker is going to be Christian. So I haven't looked too much into who the mystery hacker should be or could be. Considering Christian was just in a movie with John Moxley.
Doubtful.
Will WWE want? I don't know. But maybe it's Christian. He says, listen to his theme song and you'll know what I mean.
Okay.
So, which theme song is that, Matthew? Because if you tell us what the theme song is, I have Spotify here. I mean, we'll get taken down for copyright, but let's listen to the theme song and see if we can see what you're talking about. Christian as the hacker. Let's keep that in the back of our minds because I think that there could be something to it. I would always love. I'm always down for a Christian return. Christian's great, and with Edge running around as well, maybe they could do something.
But keep in mind that that's a SmackDown thing, and Edge is. I'm just trying to think. Is Edge on Raw with Orton, or is it
Invitational? It doesn't matter where they are.
Oh, I forget. Like, I like to think that it should matter, but clearly it doesn't.
It doesn't matter. Nothing in WWE matters. You don't have to ask these questions because it's wrestling. But the question I want to ask is, what the fuck is the greatest wrestling match ever tagline for Backlash? So it's for Edge and Orton, right?
I thought so, but then you had the same tagline for Braun Strowman and for the handicap match for his Universal title defense. So I think it began as for this match, and it's become encompassing for the whole pay-per-view.
So is it the greatest wrestling show ever?
Possibly, but it says match, like with all the other ones as well.
For every
I
single
don't
match
understand.
graphic, it says the greatest wrestling match ever.
Yeah.
Which one, WWE?
Which
one?
reminds me, like when I talk to people that don't ever watch wrestling, and then they think that an entire event is called a match. It's like, oh, I'll come to the match, and see all the matches. So I think that's what's happening here.
I'll come
There's some
down to the
miscommunication.
matches. Yeah, but then it'd be the greatest wrestling matches ever because people say, oh yeah, I'm going to the matches this weekend. Right?
No. When I talk to people, they think that wrestling is just like one match or something. I'm like, there's like more than one. So there's different rounds with different people in it. I'm like, yeah, okay.
I guess
We'll
so
settle
like
on
in Ben Ting, how Zadie was like, good luck at the match tonight. No, because he was just talking to her about her match specifically, right?
Yeah.
Not the show. We're getting ahead of ourselves. I can't wait to talk about this movie, by the way, you guys. I can't wait to talk about Ben Ting. So let's wrap up the WWE stuff because we know I don't watch it all that often. I guess NXT is probably the next best thing to watch. I will recommend that you guys, if you haven't, watch what do they call it? The Fight Pit? Is that what they called it? The NXT Fight Pit? Yeah, Timothy Thatcher versus Matt Riddle from this week's NXT. Oh, damn. So it was like a cage match, right?
Yeah.
But they both have like legitimate fighting backgrounds and stuff. So it was like a cage match, but then they had a scaffold on top of the cage and they had Kurt Angle in there as the special guest referee. Look, dude, it was fucking dope. And there was there was some interesting stuff on this episode of NXT because I tuned in because I heard this match was amazing. So I'm like, all right, let's watch some NXT again. Because at the moment, I'm at a point where I'm only watching the pay-per-views and the highlights. But this match was fantastic. I definitely recommend it. Watch this match. You guys both need to log into the network and watch this match. But the rest of the show, you can take it or leave it. Candice LeRae as a heel is good fun, though. I'll say that.
Yeah, you got Karrion Kross at the moment. He's just a beacon of light with everything else going on as well.
Yeah. Lip syncing.
Yeah.
Come into the ring lip syncing. Beacon of light. The beacon of light in WWE is the guy who's coming to the ring over the top animated lip syncing.
Yes.
Let that sink in.
I still haven't seen this intro for him, so it's
Oh,
something
you
to look
need
forward
to.
to.
Yeah, you need to. It's fantastic. But let's talk about In Your House, NXT TakeOver In Your House, which I discovered today on Reddit is something that they've taken from somebody who does weird YouTube stuff about like, and I'm not going to pull up a video or anything, but I did see a link. I didn't click through it, but it was like they do, in 2K20, how you can create your own arenas and stuff, or 2K19 in the wrestling games, you can create your own arenas. And they have a situation going on where they were doing NXT In Your Houses, and they've been doing them for over a year, and now NXT are copying them. So if the arena ends up being exactly the same as this one on the WWE 2K19, I'm going to pop. I think it's going to be great. But you've got the card there for us, Mr. Mysterious. Take us through, because the card's starting to take shape, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got 5 matches to my knowledge. We got Finn Balor going up against Damian Priest. We have, as we mentioned, Karrion Kross. So he is in a story with Tommaso Ciampa. That match is going to be very special. Going off of all the back and forth they've been doing lately, we do have a NXT North American Championship match: Johnny Gargano versus Keith Lee. So that's going to be incredible. Like,
That should be good.
do we want to do predictions as well while we're going through the
I
card?
wouldn't
Or
have a clue who's going to win all this.
Wouldn't have a
at the
clue?
moment, to be honest. No.
Yeah, I haven't watched NXT for years,
Wouldn't
so
have a clue.
I
I mean, I watch, but not how I used to. Not how I used to at all. It's just so hard to watch at the moment.
I will say I think Keith is still going to be like, they're keeping the North American title on him for a little while longer. Gargano doesn't need it. He's had it before. No need for it. We have the NXT Women's Championship match, the triple threat: Io Shirai versus Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair. So we're finally getting those Charlotte women's division matches for NXT. So we'll see if her reign as women's champion in NXT is all worth it with all this. And then we have the big main event, the NXT Championship match, the Velveteen Dream versus Adam Cole. And if Velveteen Dream loses, he gets no more title shots while Cole is the champion.
Right. So that match has already been filmed,
Yes.
from what I hear. Right. And apparently it's going to be some kind of cinematic match. Like, they told the NXT guys and the Performance Center guys to carpool to the Performance Center, which, you know, social distancing, guys.
Yes.
Why are we carpooling? And then what they did, so apparently there was a ring set up out the back of the Performance Center, and they had the cars parked around the ring and then filmed. So it's going to be like, I don't know, like some kind of Mad Max kind of, like, what's going on? I don't know, but I'm keen to see it. Like, I'm looking forward to this pay-per-view. Even, like, that's the thing with NXT is I can not watch and then tune in for a takeover and be like, I know that I'm going to get a great wrestling show top to bottom. Including video packages that'll let me know what I need to know. You know what I mean?
And you have Velveteen, who is a very like inspired personality. So
That's a way of putting it.
Giving him a cinematic match. I'm curious how much input he has in how this is going to turn out.
Yeah, definitely. So I don't know. I'm keen for a pre-filmed match with cars around the ring. I don't know. That sounds interesting to me. I'm like, plus these guys, if they filmed it after Double or Nothing, like, they had the chance to watch the Stadium Stampede and go, we need to top that. And these two are two guys whose minds I'm looking forward to seeing what they come up with to try to top AEW, because make no mistake, it is a war, right?
Yes,
you've
it
got
is.
fucking Mike Tyson showing up on one of the shows. Like, things are serious at the moment. The ratings, if we want to talk about that, NXT and AEW both shooting up in ratings this week. NXT as a result of this cage match. They had the Fight Pit, which has been very well received. But, Mike Tyson has clearly bumped a rating for AEW. So I'm curious to see whether that carries over to next week, because he might be on next week's episode as well.
Mm-hmm.
One more thing with WWE I want to talk about, and it's this. I don't know if you can
Yes,
see
I
that.
showed you this one today.
It's very, very, very small. Let's make it bigger. To be the man, you have to get the man to sign over the rights to being the man in court.
Yes.
That's it. Don't have to beat him. Just have to get him to sign on the dotted line.
I didn't realize this was like a trademark of Ric Flair's. Like, it's just,
Oh,
I just thought it was
yeah.
like a verbal thing you'd say. Since when, or is this just a gimmick thing here?
No, it's part, like, he had part ownership of, like, to be the man, you got to beat the man. So he had some kind of semblance to the phrase "the man," and obviously this all kicked off because Becky Lynch is being called the man, and he's trying to get a little bit of an extra payday from WWE, and just like he looking after himself, obviously, just to make sure they reimburse him, something to that effect. Obviously they must have come to an understanding, so he's actually sold off the rights to WWE for the phrase "the man."
Yeah, there was a whole video
Ric
that we
Flair's-
covered.
Yeah,
There was a whole video that we covered when the whole Becky Lynch the man thing started, and
yeah.
and Ric Flair basically, like, incoherently outside an airport. He was drunk. He was doing a Jeff Hardy, and
He didn't pass the sobriety test.
he was talking about How he has an army of lawyers and they have an army of lawyers and they probably have more lawyers than him, but he's going to do what he can and he's going to try. Apparently, his army of lawyers was not able to outlast their army of lawyers. Who could have predicted that? So he's no longer the man. Becky Lynch is officially the man, even though she switched her branding to the mum. So, why did you sign it now, man? You just had to wait another 9 months.
Yeah.
I don't know. We do have the Christian song here. So I think it's a good thing to leave on to transition before we go to elsewhere and talk about just some random bits of news and do the quiz and stuff. Let's just quickly listen to and see if we can pick up on what he's talking about here with the lyrics to the Christian song and whether he might be the SmackDown hacker. You be the judge, guys. Let's listen. I remember this song, and you know what? That theory has legs.
It does have legs.
You didn't mean the old Christian song, was it? Christian, at last,
No.
Was that when he had the gold sprinkle like fireworks stuff? Because I loved that shit.
Yeah.
man.
I think it did, yeah.
Yeah, I loved that. That was like one of the best entrances. Man, I love Christian. I'm keen. I hope it is him now. Thank you, Matthew, for sharing that theory with us, because I'm fully on board with that theory now. Because in the hacker videos, again, I've only seen bits and pieces, but there's some of that wording, right, about opening your eyes and the truth will be revealed. And just listening to that just then, I was like, oh, there it is. Yeah.
But if WWE starts suspecting that everybody knows that, then they won't do it.
It'll be a swerve.
Yeah, they got to swerve you.
It'll be a
They
swerve.
can't do the right thing.
Yeah. Or
You can't be hopeful.
Like, I mean, you're being very hopeful that they remember what the lyrics to his entrance song were, right?
That's very true.
Like,
yeah.
that's something that you expect from New Japan. Like, oh, they sowed the seeds for this in 2011. No, it'd be cool. It would be pretty cool. But you know what else would be cool? Better wrestling games. Have you guys seen this stuff about a new wrestling video game at all?
No.
Or was
please
me
no.
putting it on the sheet the first thing you saw?
It says that the new video game. I didn't see no link or anything.
I didn't send the link because here's the thing. I learnt my lesson when I accidentally sent the link to the Darby Allin video that I wanted you guys to live react to. So I'm not going to send the link. No, screw you. I'm going to tell you all about it here. So there's a new video game in the works, and it might take a while, but it's by a development company called Virtual Basement. And
Okay.
get this.
Doesn't ring a bell.
No, it doesn't. But here's a face that you haven't seen in a while. Well, Enzo.
Oh.
Enzo
no.
Amore.
I'm going to be sick.
He is spearheading the search for wrestlers to be in this video game. And the list of wrestlers that have signed up to be a part of this so far are as motley as Enzo's hair. Let's check it out. So these are the people that so far contracted to be a part of this game, which is going to be next gen, so PS5 and what's the next Xbox called? Xbox X, Xbox One X or something?
Series X.
Series X, right.
Yeah,
So
Series X.
the new Xbox and the new PS5, similar to the 2K series, so it's not going to be like a Fire Pro Wrestling or a Retromania. It's going to be like a 3D fully realized
Simulation.
Yeah. And this is the list of names they've got so far. Confirmed. Enzo,
All right.
obviously, who has helped them find contacts in the industry. Ken Shamrock. Matt Taven.
Okay.
Brian Pillman Jr., Alex Riley, JTG, Matt Seidel, Jonathan Gresham, Kenny King, Shad Gaspard, RIP, Brian Cage, Bull Dempsey, Caprice Coleman, Shaheem Ali, Sue Young, Cheeseburger, Evilise, Kylie Ray, Killer Kelly, Rich Swan, Congo Kong, LSG, O'Shea Edwards, Fala Bar, and others. That's the list so far that they're releasing. Now,
Wow.
that's crazy.
That's insane. Like,
That's a good list.
Was it? It's a great list. Is it mainly because of the passing of Shad that this is helping to get, like, it was an idea and now it's kind of getting some legs.
Like it's been in development. It's probably not going to come out till mid next year, late next year, kind of thing. And I'm thinking they're probably going to go with crowdfunding because they're like, it's hard to find the funding. So I'm thinking they're sowing the seeds in the media, like with articles and stuff now, so they can go crowdfunding like on Kickstarter or something later. But like that roster's actually all right, man. Like you got some Impact in there, you got some Ring of Honor in there. I think there was a couple of NWA. Like there's
MLW, yeah.
MLW.
I
as
thought you were
well.
going to say it's going to be like Greg the Hammer Valentine and all these sort of jokers. I didn't expect it. The list that you gave me was way different than what I thought it was going to Legends of Wrestling type of roster.
Well, I thought so too, because when I think of Enzo now, I think of him probably like setting up his table next to Virgil, right? Like, but I'm wrong. Apparently, his rap career is paying off, and he's still relevant. I don't know, but that's a decent roster. I'm interested. I'm keen. I think it'll be fun to play. They haven't got any promotions on board yet, so it'll be interesting to see if they do like an online community, so you can build the Impact Arena, you can build the MLW Arena, and you can have these guys do cross promotional. Like I don't know, but no promotions on board, just individual wrestlers. And then will like AEW, if they want to build their own video game, are they going to get involved and be like, no, Brian Cage can't be in that? Like, are they? I feel like this game might have some troubles.
Yeah, I can see it having a lot of issues with intercompany relations.
Yeah.
Depending on how they go about it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's take a quick break because Zoom's doing the Zoom thing again, and then let's come back with the quiz, yeah?
Yes.
Sounds good.
So this gives you a chance to do your costume change, Benny.
Yes, and go the toilet.
All right, guys, we'll be right back with a quiz that you can participate in, I hope. I haven't even asked Ben if you can. But you can participate in the chat with the quiz, so please stick around, and we will be right back.
You know what I want. Give me what I want.
And the pictures have swapped again, even though I let you guys back into the chat in the correct order. It's just messing with me at this point. It's just messing with me at this point. They've done it on purpose.
I have the high ground, Ben.
Not for long.
No, you're meant to be the chosen one.
All right, cool. So we're gonna do our quiz now, right? So
Yep.
let me get rid of
Okay.
this guy's mug. I don't want to see.
All right.
I don't want to see any more Enzo.
He had his time, Greg.
Yeah. We're gonna do some quiz stuff now, guys. So please play along in the chat to whatever this quiz is gonna be. Hatsune Benku. What is
Yes,
the?
so there is a bit of a delay for the people watching us for a few
There is,
seconds.
yeah.
So just chime in with your buzz-ins and your guesses to the answers.
We'll have to
Alright,
figure
but-
out a way for him to actually participate. But I'm still learning all this Twitch stuff. I'm still learning. Obviously, we've had a comedy of errors tonight, but we're gonna be back stronger next week. We'll figure it out in the coming days and make sure that this is a lot smoother next week. But let's hit the quiz. What's the theme that you got for us?
The theme is on the internet and in sports and people's opinions. There's too many fucking goats. See these goats behind me, right? I'm sick of going on the internet. It's like Henry Cejudo, the GOAT. It's like, who the fuck's Henry Cejudo? Never even heard of him before.
He's a UFC fighter.
Everybody is apparently the GOAT. What do you think? How do you guys feel about, and not just wrestling, it's all sports. I don't give a fuck about sports, but I'm sick of death every day hearing about the GOAT. And it's a different GOAT every time. Can we just, so I've got a list of the GOATs.
Okay.
I've got 5 sports. I've got an A1 and an A2 for the GOATs. So you can get a point or a double point or whatever. I just want to settle this GOAT business, all right?
All right.
But the thing is with the goats is it's so subjective.
Yeah.
That's why
there's
you're
so
going by
many
my
goats.
list.
Okay, so
So I'm going by,
we have to figure out who
These
the
are-
goat is according to Hatsune Benku.
yes. So the way I've looked at it is these are American sports generally.
Okay.
So if it's crosses from over generations to Australia before internet, when people have video games, they're on the cover of video games. If we can identify these people, then surely they're the GOAT, aren't they?
Okay, so
You
your
get
your
my
argument
reasoning.
here is these aren't necessarily
Okay.
these aren't sports that you follow or have a strong opinion on.
But I feel like if I know these people and I know apparently how great they've been for decades even,
Then they've got to be the goat.
then surely they've got to be the GOAT.
All right.
And I'll allow arguments for otherwise. The buzz in. You go,
All right.
Buzz, you make up a sports figure from like the 50s or 60s. Like, oh, Jimmy the Fist. He was like a badminton player that went around breaking people's ankles. You know, you got to make up a funny fact
Oh,
about a
God.
fake sportsman with a weird name.
I am not prepared for this whatsoever.
No.
All right.
I'm terrified.
All right, let's go.
Question number 1. In the NBA, who is the GOAT?
Okay. Bzz. Stevie Blue Socks. Not the answer. That's the guy from the 50s. And see,
Yeah.
Stevie Blue Socks was renowned for never wearing blue socks. The name's ironic. That's where he got the
And-
name. They
and-
were like, "Do you not own a single pair of blue socks?" He's like, "I'll blue sock you in the face." Stevie Blue Socks.
This is going way better than I thought. Thank you, Greg.
And so it was NBA, right?
Yeah, so I'll accept 2 different answers for this.
It's got to be Michael Jordan.
That's A1. Now,
That's one, yeah.
Michael, do you? So that's a point. Do you want to buzz in and get the A2 answer for this one? I'll accept this.
I
other
really
person.
don't. I think Michael Jordan is the GOAT of basketball. I don't want to contend that.
I mean, look,
Okay,
I've
all
started
right.
watching The Last Dance, and
Yeah.
and Scottie Pippen. I didn't realize how good Scottie Pippen was. Like, I don't know. And I mean, obviously, the documentary is meant to make you feel the way it makes you feel. But I would go like a second GOAT would probably be Magic Johnson or Larry Bird, because they're the other two.
I had LeBron James
big
down
names
because
I
I
know.
feel like he's probably the current day GOAT, but
In
I,
the chat,
I
Doherty
do
says
prefer
Kobe.
Michael Jordan.
There's an argument for that.
See, this is where everybody starts popping in with all the different ghosts.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Too many goats.
Next
No,
question.
Michael Jordan. We all have to agree Michael Jordan, surely.
Yeah.
Because
Yes,
that
yes,
was when
yes, it's gotta
basketball
be.
was at its peak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Agreed.
All right. The three of us agree at least. People are going to get angry at this.
Now, this is a bit more shaky ground of my understanding of the sport and just what I've watched and from video games and pop culture and what's transitioned to Australian sporting knowledge in my own. But in soccer/football, who is the GOAT?
Bzz. I got to think of one of these fucking sports guys.
Yeah, that's the harder bit. Just yeah.
Billy. Okay. Not gonna go there. My mind went somewhere. Not gonna go there. Let's call him. Let's call him Billy Two Shoes. And he always wore. I don't know why all my stuff's to do with feet. What
Yeah.
is that?
Well, it's soccer, football. That I suppose.
Billy,
yeah.
Billy Two Shoes, and he wore two of the same. See, he always wore two left shoes, right? But he was one of the greatest tennis players you ever saw. Yeah, Billy
Okay.
Two Shoes.
Yes, and
He
so
peaked
who's-
in the 40s
I've
though.
got-
Does that count? You said 50s, and he peaked in the 40s.
Yeah, it's all right.
All right.
And so I'll accept two different answers for this one.
Okay, what was the sporting? It's Cristiano Ronaldo or whatever his name is, right? Cristiano Ronaldo, is that his name?
Yeah, well, I had Ronaldo
Or
written
Pele.
down, so yeah. Oh, well, I had Maradona as the other one, but you've gone Ronaldo, so
Yeah, Ronaldo. Like those are the two names I know. And Beckham. I guess I know Beckham, but I don't really know anyone else.
I don't. From what I know about Beckham, I don't think he's in the same league class of player as the others.
But
is
he can bend it.
Yes, he can.
Hmm.
I really need Mysterious to do a buzz in with one of these fake athletes. So
Well,
How about
first
my
off, I'm
A-game
having
with
trouble
these
with
tonight?
that. First off, I'm having trouble. Second of all, I don't actually follow
I
soccer
don't-
/ football, whatever you want to call it. So
I don't follow
I don't-
any of these.
But you've heard the
I don't
name
actually
Ronaldo.
know any off the top of my head. Sorry,
You've heard the name Ronaldo though,
I've heard the name. I've seen him on The Simpsons.
right?
Yeah, that's the closest
See, if
thing
he's
I can
made it
think
to The
of.
Simpsons, he's probably the goat.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Sam
You're killing me
Kerr
with this. I'm trying
in
to think
the
of
chat.
names and just, I
Sam
can't.
Kerr. I don't even know
Okay,
who that
well,
is.
well,
I've never heard that name.
Just
Sam Kerr.
all right. Here we go. Next question 3. In the NFL, who is the GOAT?
Ooh. Ooh.
The National Football League of America.
Ooh.
Waiting for a buzz in.
I'm trying to give Mysterious a chance here.
Has anybody buzzed in the who's following along?
No, not yet. Oh, they probably haven't even heard the sport yet. All right, do I
I
just
mean,
buzz
just with
in?
the
I'm
other stuff.
trying to give Mysterious a chance here.
Yeah, no, I don't need pity, but I just yeah. It's alright.
All right. Bzz.
You're killing me.
Now I've got to come up with another one of these fucking athletes.
I know it's hard.
Who's Sam Kerr? Oh, okay.
A soccer player,
Michael's-
apparently.
Michael's buzzed in with Dan Marino.
Okay, so I'm gonna go. Okay, I need my buzz name first. So let's call her. Let's call her Faith Butterfly, and she was just renowned for doing the butterfly stroke, right? She was a swimmer. And Faith
Oh, he started off so good.
She's Faith
Yeah,
the
okay.
Butterfly
I'll take it.
Butterscotch. That's her name. Faith the Butterfly Butterscotch. And she
And
was
what was she? She was a swimmer, and what did she do a lot though?
butterfly. She did the butterfly and the relay. She was big in the relay. You know?
Okay.
Yeah, led the US to a few gold medals. The relay team. Yeah. I'm gonna say. I mean, I guess modern goat. So you've probably got this A2. It would be Tom Brady, right?
Yes, I've got Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I only had one down for this, so
What about
it's
Johnny
been unfair that
Unitas?
the quarterback
Johnny
is always
Football.
the most famous, aren't they? So
Yeah. Well, there's
Yeah.
a bunch. You could
It's
go.
always
You
the
go
way.
with Brett Favre. You go. There's a bunch. There's been a bunch of really
Yeah.
great quarterbacks, but
it would have
hard to
Brett
pick.
Favre. If I had a second one, it would have been Brett Favre.
Yeah, Brett Favre's a big one.
Technically wrestling related because we had Cody talking about why Tom Brady is his favorite football player. So
Yeah, but you had Johnny.
There's that.
Johnny Unitas was like he was literally named Johnny Football. You know, he was the man with the golden arm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know the name. I
Yeah.
couldn't tell you who he played for or anything, but
No, neither could I. But I know Johnny Unitas.
Okay.
And
Well, I
I
guess-
was an NFL guy for a long time. I've watched NFL and I've watched a lot of the documentaries and stuff, and so I would go with him or Tom Brady. But I'll allow Tom Brady.
Question number 4. Who is the GOAT of the NHL, National Hockey League?
Oh, well, that's easy. Come on, Mysterious. Buzz, that's easy.
Go on,
I don't follow hockey.
Skate
I don't
where the
follow
puck
hockey.
is going.
Video games in the 90s. It was like, who's the only ice hockey player you could probably name?
Think of the only ice hockey player you know, and he's probably the GOAT.
Let's see if you can beat the Facebook watchers.
He's given us like one of the most like
It's a
common
layup.
phrases that's like the best advice you can have if you want to be an innovator and want to be a person who's ahead of the curve is skate where the puck is going, not where it is. All right.
Nah.
There we go. Michael
Sorry,
Doherty
guys.
in the chat. He gets it.
Yeah.
Michael Doherty says
Sorry,
Wayne
guys.
Gretzky. I'm not buzzing because obviously I've won this challenge.
Yeah,
Come
you
on,
have.
gotta hear a
but
buzz.
just-
Come on, give us a name.
But now I've got to
Buzz in
come up with another fucking... Can someone in the chat help me with a fake athlete? Can we get one of those in the chat instead of just getting the answers? All right. Bzzz. Let's call this one... Let's go... For gender equality's sake, let's go with another woman. We'll call her
Sure.
Betty. Betty Blue Socks. She was Billy Blue
Give her the
Socks'
rest of the
cousin.
socks.
No, it was
Socks.
Blue Socks'
No
cousin.
socks.
But she always wore blue socks because she got famous after him. You see, they were in the same sport. I can't remember what his sport was.
I need a whistle to blow. Come on.
Yeah.
You gotta give me some. I don't
calling
I
you
got
out.
nothing.
Yellow card.
Someone's
Yeah, see, Michael
Someone's
Doherty in
got
the
a foot
chat,
fetish here.
he's ripping on you, Mysterious, because he says he doesn't know NHL either, but he knows Wayne Gretzky. Everyone knows Wayne Gretzky. Come on.
I don't. I'm sorry. I'm not
You
a
didn't
hockey
play
guy.
video games in the 90s? I suppose you guys are a bit young.
Yeah, before it was
Okay.
NHL 2K whatever, it was Gretzky's.
Gretzky 96
Yeah,
or something
Gretzky
like that?
96, yeah,
Gretzky
yeah.
95?
Yeah, and so when you go baseball, is baseball next?
No, I was going to have it, but I thought I'd make the last one. Who is the GOAT of pro wrestling?
God.
I'll accept 2 different ones. There's
Come on,
one that I'd
Mysterious.
lean more towards myself.
Okay. There's a
Given the criteria,
There's a-
Mysterious, just buzz. Just buzz.
yeah. This is
There we
yeah.
go.
All right, because we talked like Greg and I talked about this on episodes for the past few months.
You-
Now we're talking about who we think's the goat.
Are you going to
Um,
name your fake athlete first, though?
Yeah, you got to buzz in.
All right.
You buzzed in, you got to do it now.
Meanwhile, guys, in the chat, drop who you think the greatest wrestler of all time is. Michael Doherty's weighed in with The Undertaker. A solid choice. Solid choice. Not the GOAT in Ben's quiz, I'm going to guess. Given
No.
the criteria here was if you don't know anything about the sport, you've probably heard the name.
And this is probably more to do with like overall impact on the industry as well was taken into account here.
Right.
It's not like who is the best wrestler, who can have the best match. It is not that.
Yeah. No.
But
right.
it adds to the criteria.
It's who can say the N word the most on tape. That's
All right. So my fake name. So Max Waterman, the guy who won a gold medal despite being initially afraid of water. I don't know.
Was he
Right.
swimming or was he doing a different event?
He was doing swimming. Yeah.
and he
Okay,
was
all right.
Waterman
2
as well.
swimmers.
It was in his name. That's
So-
better than any of mine. I like that. That's good.
What was the
So-
guess, sorry?
Chris Jericho. We've been talking about this for a few months, on and off. So I got to stay consistent. I think Jericho is a goat.
Well, it's not one of the ones I had.
Okay.
Do you want to buzz in?
Really? Okay. Bzz. And I'm going to go Marty because I can see the Marty skull mask behind me here. So I'm going to go Marty the Mutilator. And he was
Figure skater.
yeah.
Because you'd accidentally cut their faces up on a triple
yeah,
axel.
that's it. He did the move from Blades of Glory and he sliced someone open. So he's
The
Marty,
Iron Lotus.
Marty the Mutilator, famous for the Iron Lotus. Hulk Hogan, right?
Yes, he gets the score.
Or Stone
Yes,
Cold
I had
Steve Austin.
Okay.
I'm leaning more Ric Flair overall.
No,
but
no,
I
in terms
was
of
thinking
main
about
actor,
this
it's Stone Cold and Hulk, surely.
Stone Cold and the Hulk.
Stone Cold, Hulk Hogan. And
I had
it's-
Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan as my two.
You didn't have
that
Stone
had on the
Cold.
list.
Wow. All right. You're wrong, but okay. That's fine. You're entitled to your wrong opinion. There's too many goats. I get it now. I get it. I
Yeah,
get it.
we do.
But I think
Yeah.
Chris, but on the subject of Chris Jericho, like by the time that his career is done, then he could be like just the things that like being the star talent that goes to this new company and being on top the way he was, and just everything that he's done for it. So
Yeah.
Matthew in the
it's
chat.
too soon.
Matthew in
too
the chat
soon
agrees,
for
Nature
Jericho.
Boy. Matthew in the chat agrees, Nature Boy, and all I can say to that is technically then it would be Becky Lynch because he signed over the rights to be the man. So it's not Ric Flair anymore. He's not the GOAT. Becky Lynch is the GOAT.
Yeah,
And look, in 20 years there may be a case for Becky Lynch. Who knows?
sure.
Who knows? But
So
that was fun.
I hope you all enjoyed that quiz.
That was good fun. But
I mean,
That was
they've been
stressful.
eating away at me over the last few days. It's like
That was stressful,
fucking
Ben.
goats.
you needed to get that off your chest. I could tell. You needed to get that out.
I do.
But okay, so if we wanted to go with one other sport that you don't know, Mr. Mysterious, right? Baseball. Who's the GOAT of baseball? Really?
I could
Oh,
name
yeah.
I could name 3 players in baseball.
All right.
I could name Ken Griffey Jr.,
Because of the
Mickey
video game.
Mantle,
Thank you.
Mickey Mantle, and Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth. That's the guy you go
Babe
with,
Ruth.
right?
Babe Ruth.
Babe
Yeah,
Ruth's the guy you go with because it's the name that everyone fucking knows. Anyway.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole point. It's just who's the first, when you think of the sport, who's the first name that pops into your head? They're probably the GOAT. Right? So with boxing, it's probably Mike
Yeah,
Tyson
Muhammad Ali.
or Muhammad Ali. Right. They're
Yeah.
the two names. Oh, Mike
That's
Tyson,
one that I
Muhammad
was
Ali,
meant to
Joe
write that
Frazier.
down. When I was thinking of the whole thing, I was like, oh yeah, Muhammad Ali. Yeah, that would have worked better than soccer probably. Don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. It's but when it comes to certain things, it's so subjective, man. It's so subjective.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I'm into it. You know what's not subjective is the movie that we watched this week, because I'm sure we're all about to agree on this. I hope we're all about to agree on this,
Yeah.
because if we don't agree, you're fired. We watched the movie Banting. I found this on Tubi TV, and I had a quick look at it, and I was like, oh, this sounds like the story of an actual wrestler in Malaysia,
Yes.
Noor Phoenix
Diana.
Yeah, Noor Diana.
Yes.
And she's a wrestler who wrestles in full hijab, and a very inspiring story. She's talked about it a few times. Hopefully we can get her on the show one day to have a chat about it. But this movie was made even before she debuted, I believe, and it's it's in
2014.
Yes, this is in Singapore, and it's the story of a young woman who decides she wants to become a pro wrestler, even though she lives in a strict Muslim household. She wears the hijab, and that's part of the reason she wants to become a wrestler, is to prove that girls who wear the hijab can do anything that other women can do. And I fucking loved this movie. What did you guys think?
Yeah. I
It
thought
was
it
a
was
good
wonderful.
movie. It lost me a bit later on in the movie when we felt off again bogged down with, oh, Mum's not going to let me wrestle. I've got to go to this ceremony for a scholarship thing. And then I started looking at my phone a bit, but then I got back into it afterwards. So overall, I really liked the movie.
The story is very simple, and then it adds onto itself, and like you're expecting it to be like, because the movies that we've watched previously, and you're thinking it's going to be like a bad representation of what wrestling is, and there are elements in here where there are bad representations, but it's very sincere. It's taken a lot of care, and it's focusing on that this is this girl's passion, and in a strict following her religion, and also her mum, who is a next level of strictness. But that's just my thinking. But
I thought they nailed
I
the
love
way
this.
they represented wrestling. I didn't think that they.
Yeah.
What parts did you think they mishandled the representation of wrestling?
Because the opening
thought 'cause-
seconds, it's just like in the darkness and it's like the dream of the wrestling ring.
Yeah.
It's like instantly I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
like wrestling is like a really good thing in this movie. It's not a joke.
And then like the first match that that she goes to with her friend, and it's the undercard before the actual main event when her friend's actually gone to the toilet. Like that's when it picks up. Like, but you watch the the first few girls have a
With
fight,
those
and you're
twin-
just
the
like,
twin girls that do the
what's
creepy,
yeah,
do the creepy
That
shiny.
girl looked
thing.
like a zombie.
but
Was she
hang
meant to
on.
be a zombie?
Hang on, we're all involved in local wrestling to some extent. Let's not fucking
Yes.
pretend and sugarcoat like there isn't bullshit out there. There is. There's bad wrestling.
there
dude.
is.
When
There
you
is bad
go to your
wrestling, but
first
like, the
local
fact
show,
that there was
when
the
you-
fact there was bad wrestling in the movie, I thought that it was going to make fun of the wrestling and just I don't know.
Right. But it didn't. It showed a really honest portrayal of... Because as well, the Singaporean wrestling scene is a scene that I follow loosely. And Malaysia as well. And, I mean, obviously we talked to Iman the Kid before he came to Melbourne because I'd seen his work in Malaysia, specifically a match with Shaukat, which I nominated for a match of the year in Voices of Wrestling's match of the year poll because it's such a good fucking match. And, like, there's some really good wrestling happening over there. And then in the undercard, there's some really people figuring themselves out, And and that's okay. That's okay. That happens everywhere across the world. That happens in America. That happens here in our country here. There are definitely people that are still working themselves out. Guys, put on a mask and work as a luchador for the first year or two of your career. No one ever has to know. But but the thing, I thought that it nailed that. The fact that there were people that were, just weekend warriors that were never going to make it. There were people... I thought it nailed that. It nailed the training. Like the way it depicted training and stuff. And the biggest part of the way wrestling was portrayed that it nailed to me was the way it gets inside you.
Yeah.
As
I
a
love
person
that.
who goes to training. And like when the coach turned to her and said when she was trying to front up like she was going to quit because she couldn't keep fighting with her mum about this. And he turned to her and he's like, it's inside you. Like, I know that you're not going to quit. You're just lying to yourself. And that whole scene was so powerful to me as a person who's been to wrestling training. And like, that never leaves you. I want to get, every time I see a ring, I want to get in it.
I couldn't believe that the coach was initially going to not let her join up, and they've got 5 people on the roster. I'm like, are you seriously not going to let her join?
Yeah.
He's
How do you
so
feel about-
dismissive. Like this promotion only has like 6 women, 7, 8 women. There's not very many.
Yeah.
It was 6 with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think I got the impression that they run their all-girls shows out of the gym, and that's just to help the girls get extra ring time, but then they actually do have their bigger shows. Because when we saw the actual show at the end, it was like a proper show, and there were male wrestlers there. So it wasn't a women's promotion.
Yeah.
It was...
Okay.
But I also... Something that's so important is it was a good movie. Right? So we're talking about the way it depicted wrestling, and like you can go watch Cage Fighter, which we talked about last week, and it wasn't a great movie. It was okay, right?
It's okay.
It was okay. The main event, it not only depicted wrestling as awful, but it was a shit movie. It just wasn't a good movie, right? Like, whereas with My Dad is a Heel Wrestler, which we've also watched in ISO time, we decided, like, that was a great movie. It had things to say. That's an important thing for me, is a movie that has things to say. This had so much to say about parenting, about holding on tightly, letting go lightly. Like, it had so much to say about, about her Muslim identity. And the great thing about it to me was she was a fully realized character who happened to be a Muslim, right? Despite the fact that her Muslimness was central to the story, it wasn't central to her character.
No.
That's good fucking writing, man. That's such good writing. Like, I believed this was a real person. I believed the boyfriend was... Not the boyfriend, sorry. The
friend, yeah.
The friend. How funny was it at the end? Spoilers. Let's just hit the stinger real quick.
Oh, with Queen Kong.
This movie's been out for 6 years, guys. You should get onto it, but still.
No, but most people wouldn't have seen it. But definitely big recommend from all of us here. But just at the end...
Queen Kong is totally going to fuck him.
When Gloria hits on him, that was hilarious. But more so... when he tells her, it's like Han Solo, Princess Leia on steroids moment, right?
I can see that, yeah.
Because, I don't know, I've lost audio from you guys. Are you guys still there?
Yes.
Yeah, we're here.
Are you trying to play a clip?
Are you there? Oh, there we go. I've got your audio back. Sorry, I pressed the
Well,
wrong
thanks,
button.
Conan, because I've actually brought a clip and we're going to play it right now.
I wish I had the clip for this. No, copyright. But no, it was like a Han Solo on steroids moment. You know what I'm talking about? Like,
Can see that, yeah.
He
I've
tells-
always had tell me something that would make me feel better. It's like,
Yeah.
I've always had feelings. And it's like,
And she cuts him off, and then she's like, I've always known. And it's like, she doesn't reciprocate the feelings at all. He's just like, I've always loved you. And she's like, I've always known. And that's it. Then she walks out to the ring. I'm like, what a boss bitch. So good. I loved everything about this movie, and I cannot recommend it highly enough. I'm going to put it, it's pretty close to number one. It's right up there because I like that kind of lighthearted teen
it's
movie.
very similar tone to My
Yeah.
Dad's a Heel Wrestler.
Yeah, it's similar to My Dad's a Heel Wrestler in its seriousness and its ability to tell a story and its quality, but
But this is an actual movie in a sense.
well,
if that
yeah,
makes
it's
sense.
bigger budget. You could tell it was bigger budget, but beyond that, it's also I like that teen movie vibe. So like how it starts off with her narrating it, like, "Oh, this is me. I love wrestling," right? And it has like all those quick clips of things and a very kind
Posters,
of
figurines, Rey Mysterio, Batista, Undertaker,
Yeah.
all over the walls.
so good. And it's like what's the movie I'm thinking of where any of those movies where like Mean Girls, how you get those narration bits and stuff like that, and it's very teen movie, and I'm a fan of that kind of vibe. And I thought, I really dug this movie, and I think people should definitely check it out more so than anything we've watched so far, other than My Dad Is a
Without
Heel
a doubt.
Wrestler. Where would
I
you
will
guys put it?
complain, like I said in the group chat, about these subtitles. It's just switching languages constant. Like within the one conversation, two people talking to each other, and they're
Yeah.
like, after a sentence, it's so disorientating. Because,
And then they start talking English.
and
But
the subtitles don't match up when they're speaking English sometimes as well.
do you,
Not completely, no.
No, but do
No,
you have any
it's-
friends who are Malaysian, Indonesian, any of the, because that's how they talk.
Is it?
Filipino
Okay.
as well. Yeah, they switch back and forth because the English language is so prevalent in their country. They do switch back and forth between like quite natively, quite naturally, and it's very common, and so it made it feel more real to me as a person who has friends of these ethnicities, and my partner's Filipino, and it's very much the same there. Like they will switch back and forth like it's nothing, and you're like, that is so incredible. The way you can do that, like just have two languages in your head just ready to go. It made it feel more real to me. Like I was really in the world. I was into it.
Yeah, I love the cafe owner that she works for. Just
The boss.
he's one of my
House
favorite
manager.
characters. Yeah,
No,
we
no,
talked
You're such a
about the
boyfriend
boss
guy
from
was the
Heels.
house manager, but the manager guy was great.
Yeah. It's like, oh, it's good that you're having fun. Like we almost got robbed because you didn't lock the door, but that's okay if it happens
Yeah,
again. You're
fine,
fired. It's
fine.
okay.
Yeah, and then he's straight face. Yeah, but I just love that whole thing was good. I've picked our next movie because I'm on a streak here. Because you guys pick bad movies and I pick good movies, so I've gone ahead and picked the next movie.
I haven't picked a movie. Can I point that out?
You haven't? Wasn't it your idea for us to
No.
watch the main event?
I don't know. I think
I'm
we all just kind of
sure-
agreed. Just
I'm sure.
I think we'd all seen it, so we just talked about it.
yeah.
I'm
I think
sure it was
we'd
your
all seen it
idea
anyway.
to you.
Do you
kicked
have
this
anything
whole
on tap, Mysterious, or not?
thing off. Okay,
No,
yeah, do you have a
no, but like,
suggestion?
yeah.
If you have a suggestion, I'm open to suggestions.
Nah, off the top of my head, like, but honestly, I agree. You're on a streak with the Tubi. So if is it another Tubi
It's another
movie that we're
Tubi
going to be
movie.
looking at?
It showed up in the recommended films after I finished watching this, and it's called Chokeslam.
Okay.
So,
Okay,
I'll
brief synopsis, please.
just give me a second to pull it up. I should have been prepared for this. Yeah, the synopsis is coming. So it's called Chokeslam, and it's along a similar vein.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not similar in that like it's I believe there's someone in it that wants to be a pro wrestler. Let's
All right.
up Chokeslam. Okay.
We've got to get to Pin Up on a Falcon at some stage.
So
Fellas.
okay, here we go. So a famous pro wrestler
Absolutely.
returns home for her high school reunion, not knowing that her ex wants to win her back or that a contract in Japan may ruin it. So
Okay.
we got another
Yeah.
a female wrestler, a contract in Japan, returns home for her high school reunion, and it also features WWE superstar Mick Foley.
He's in everything.
He won't turn
He's in
down a
lot
movie
of-
role.
yeah.
Yeah.
No.
So
It's
Mick
the
Foley's
only-
in it.
All the act. I've never heard of anybody in this apart from him.
My streak may end.
So this is it's got a 4.6 on IMDb.
Yeah. What's this other
Yeah.
movie that you've suggested? This I saw this on.
Peanut Butter Falcon, which also has Mick Foley in it. We should preface.
So Jamie Apps over at Jamie Apps Media, his podcast, the Commentary Booth, they talked about this week. So I'm not going to listen to that because if we're going to get to that in the coming weeks, then I'll want to go into it without any knowledge.
That has a 7.6 on IMDb, so much higher.
Peanut butter. What's Banting's rating on IMDb?
I think it was a 4 something.
Whatever it is, it should
Really?
be higher.
It should
because
be
it's a
higher.
lovely movie.
I love this movie.
I think it only had. I think only 15 people had even given it a rating,
Right,
whereas
I'm
Peanut Butter
I'm
Falcon
literally
has
gonna
42,000.
I'm literally going to
Well,
create
more people
an
should watch
account to rate
Banting.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
5.7 from 15 reviews.
Yeah, so I'm going to create an account on IMDb just to rate it because I honestly, I enjoyed it that much. It's a good movie. People should check it out. And if people want to check it out and let you guys know what they thought of it, where can they do that?
You go.
That's right. You guys can follow me at Mr. Mysterious with a 17i on all the socials: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Here at the B Plus, I'm not hard to find if you want to find me, and just let us know about all the technical issues from this week and other wrestling news,
We'll
and
fix it. We'll fix it.
we'll get back to you.
And when people want to let you know who the GOAT is, Ben, where do
Oh,
they do
fuck.
that?
At Asia Mania Pod, I know who the goats are, and you can just be quiet with your opinions.
Opinions are like assholes, right? So
And Greg, where can
Everyone
everybody
has one.
find you?
I am at Greg Does Tweets on Twitter, at Greg Does Graham on Instagram, at Greg Does Radio on Stationhead, where I spin tracks. Greg Does Things on Twitch, where you may be watching this. If not, go to twitch.tv/Greg Does Things and hit that follow button, because once we get to a certain amount, then we can do extra things on there. So I'm gonna do some TEW live streams. Hopefully I'm gonna stream tomorrow. I'm also gonna be streaming other video games. I plan on getting my Animal Crossing once I get my second monitor and stuff. It's gonna be a lot easier. But Greg Does Things on Twitch, because I do all kinds of things. One of those things is talk about wrestling on the B Plus Wrestle, which you can find the B Plus Wrestle on Twitter, because wrestling wouldn't fit the B Plus Wrestling everywhere else. Like, share, subscribe, 5-star review if you like what we do. YouTube, everywhere, all that stuff. Thank you so much for listening.
Catch you guys.
Bye.